All right, we should be going here. Breakout sessions. Okay, here we go. Hello.
Hello. So,
Oh, all right, you've got me. All right, Annie, I just made you host so that I can jump in and out. Now, I didn't realize I have to go in and start all the sessions.
yeah, I don't think the team knows.
So I just did, so they should all be live now.
Do you think it's worth mentioning it at the lobby?
Give it a couple minutes for people to jump in. This is why we have time built in around all these things. Let's see, hold on. Oh,
Let me send this to the team.
and well, Annie, since I made you host, you may have to enable screen sharing and stuff. I lost all my control once I switched it over. I don't know. Let's see. All right, people are dropping out. I just put back in the other chat the breakout stuff is live. What do we got here?
Joe, a thought for you. When you are in the main lobby Zoom session, you can't see the breakout rooms in there. You have to go back to the events page on the browser to be able to view those. So that might be confusing for people in the main.
Oh, because of my little thing I'm sharing?
Yes.
So stop share there.
You might want to adjust that to be, to visit the events page to find the breakout sessions.
That's good. All right, I'll change that. I think some people are just having good conversations there too. We're good. Okay, good. People are jumping in. So I will change that. So instead of select one below, I'll say go to main events page for schedule. All right, there we go. All right, good. People hopping. And let me go put something on the main. So this is good that it does record them and all now in this way, but it is harder to manage.
Right, they have to go back and forth.
Yeah. So I guess it's got advantages, I guess. Advantages and no advantages and non-advantages. I don't know. Let's see. Hey, all right. Take it away. I think you're good. I expect people will pop in and pop out. But we do have the multiple sessions going on. People like to jump around. Some people jump around, some people stay. It's always fun.
Let me just make sure Evan and Michael from my team are on. I saw them on the lobby, but
To come here, I can also push people too.
ooh, yeah,
Me,
please.
I can push people to places.
Push them in here.
So who am I pushing where?
Michael McAdams and Eben, ABIN Thomas.
Let's see.
I just sent them the main page link. It's a little bit, oh, there you
Are they in? Are they coming? Let's see. Oh, there, I can push him. Let's see. Oh, I can only put in me. He is. Hey, Michael, you're supposed to go to your Huddly room. There you go. I don't have my speaker on because, well, I'll get echo throughout running 3 computers at one time. And then who else?
Ebin, ABIN.
Saw, oh, okay, jumped. And then coming over.
Very cool.
It'll take people a half a day and then everyone will get it. See,
For the approved products though, that's being done on the lobby.
that
Later.
is in the main lobby. Yeah,
Okay.
so only the breakout sessions have the different things. Everything else happens in the main lobby.
Cool. Okay, awesome.
Well, they did jump out, but I don't see them hopping in here. Let me
They
go.
just have to click join on that page. That's how I did it.
Yeah, I'm finding the secret is just keep the main lobby page open. And
Right.
then it goes. All right, let me see. There is a way I can push people places. I just need to figure it out.
I think they're having a hard time finding it. Let me see.
Because they were able to join the lobby, which means they were able to join something.
Do you mind if I post something on the lobby chat?
Go right ahead. There we go. Oh, no, he jumped back into the lobby.
I wish there was a, let me see. I'm sure there is a,
All right, well, great. It's all there. People just have to click the
right, no, I saw it. It's not,
right one.
once you know where to be, it's easy.
Yeah. All right, jumped out. There we go. I think people are figuring it out. I think I'm seeing people end up where they're supposed to be.
Okay, awesome.
Oh, no, I don't know why they're not hopping in here. They just keep hopping in and out of the same lobby one.
It says it takes him to the main lobby. That's weird. I see it. Okay, let me start them off from the main page. Oh,
There we go.
Hey guys, yeah, somehow the link didn't appear on my end, so I had to search for Huddly and found the session and got it.
interesting.
Yeah, because when I click on that link, it goes back to the main lobby.
Right.
But
Maybe
Yeah, and from the main lobby, you have to scroll down
yeah,
and you'll
Yeah.
then see them all. If you just click the join button, it goes to the main lobby.
it goes to
Oh.
the lobby.
You have to scroll down to find the session.
Exactly. So I just searched for Huddly and I found the session.
Yeah.
Let's wait for Michael also.
Let me just tell him.
Which I could, all right. I'm wondering if I can. I want to stop stream. All right. Hopefully you're good. I'm going to jump out of here because I'm going to try to help other stuff. And I think I can make this better. Yeah. All right. I'm out. Annie, you're still.
Okay, we have people jumping in. Let's give it one more minute and then we'll start off with Huddly. And could you make Eben Thomas the presenter, please? Perfect.
See my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Michael, take it away.
Great. Hey, my name's Michael McAdams. I'm with Huddly. Thanks for joining us today. Sorry about the issue that we had with the room, but nonetheless, appreciate you being here. We're also joined by Shadi and Eben. Eben is actually calling in from our experience room out of Philadelphia, where we can showcase our technology in living color. I believe we're going to have a live demo tomorrow. But Huddly, I guess if you guys would like to begin, unless there's some questions that you already have off the top of your head about Huddly, I can field them now. All right, great. So go ahead, Eben, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So what I'd like to cover today is the heritage of Huddly and some of the things that we've done in our past and some of the things that we're doing in our future. User experiences, which is really the key to our AI programming, and then use cases. And then we'd like to open it up to some questions and answer, and maybe have an open dialogue conversationally at the end of this presentation. All right. So the heritage, we were born in the Video Valley of Norway, and that's pretty significant because the proprietors of our company that peeled off from Cisco after being acquired through a Tamberg acquisition. They were doing cutting edge technologies at both organizations, but they spun off and created Huddly. And the purpose for them was to create a purpose-built camera, when that was an ultra wide angle, high definition camera that we embedded in the Crestron Google Meet Series 1 kit back in 2016. After that, we've been able to create some other pioneering technologies. We built the world's first ePTZ camera, the Huddly IQ. The Huddly IQ was able to bring a small form factor, miniaturized high definition wide angle camera into the classroom or conference room, and then have it be fully autonomous with AI framing to group everybody in the shot. Shortly after that, we invented the ability to put portrait lighting into our cameras. And then we built a first network adapter, which is something significant. Earlier last year in the summer, we were pleased to announce we were MTR's very first Microsoft Teams certified IP camera. So that was something nice that we pioneered. And then we'll also open it up to a new technology we're pioneering, but I'm going to leave it at that and then make you tune in to the end. That's our heritage. We're going to continue to innovate and change the way HyFlex video is experienced on the Farsight to make it more engaging and also to make it more inclusive to the Farsight participants, so that way they can get 70% of the nonverbal communication that transpires in classrooms or in conference rooms, and they can get that same feel wherever they may be. So on that note, I'll hand the ball over to Evan.
Thank you, Michael. Guys, so one of the things you have to understand about Huddly is it is all about collaboration, right? We have to collaborate together to have an effective meeting. So at Huddly, we are working hard to provide experiences to the meeting space, to higher ed, locations. We want to make sure that people interact naturally. So what you're going to see in the next couple of slides are some of our experiences, which gives you that option, right? And at the end of the day, we want people to have great meetings and work together better and make it as natural as possible. So let's talk a little bit about our experiences. You guys are probably familiar with some of our cameras. We have the L1 camera, the S1, and the IQ for different size rooms. And I'm just going to talk about our existing technology, and we're going to talk about some of the new stuff as well. So Genius Framing. Genius Framing, you're probably familiar with it. As you can see in this room, I do have an L1 camera that is installed. And you can notice Genius Framing is all about including everybody. So if you have a bunch of people in the meeting space, each and every person is going to be included in that shot. And it's going to automatically pan, tilt, and zoom, just so that everybody is seen properly in the space, especially in the hybrid work, right? Here's another example or a video which shows Genius Framing, especially with a glass wall on the side. You can notice, even if there are a bunch of people walking by the glass wall, our camera automatically identifies who's in the room and will not give that false detection. So this is a common experience that is available on all our cameras. The second one is portrait lighting, and Michael did touch upon it. This is an AI feature which basically analyzes the lighting condition of the image. So if your lighting in the room is dim, it's going to brighten the image, or if it's too bright, it's going to dim it so that the facial features are much more easier to see. As you can see in this picture, and I do have an animation as well, you can see that this is kind of like overexposed image, but once portrait lighting is on, you'll see that the background becomes much darker while the person or the subject becomes brighter. A third experience, which is going to come, which is already here for the IQ camera and eventually will come for the S1 and the L1, is the gallery view feature. You're probably familiar with front row, smart gallery. These are all split view layouts of the participants that are within the space, so that we can get rid of all the dead space around and just focus on the people in the room. With our cameras, with the IQ, right now, you can do up to 3 pane windows. So what you see here is a 2-pane window. And you can notice as the person is talking, the camera is in focus. Even if they were to stand up, it's just going to pan, tilt, and zoom just on that quadrant. We are working on a 4-pane window, which should be out pretty soon as well. And it is compatible with Microsoft Teams and Zoom. And do not forget the canvas. You know, if you're looking for that whiteboard solution, as well as a front of room camera, we do have the Huddly canvas. And the Huddly canvas is all about having like your shared content. So for example, if you have a whiteboard in the space, whatever information is written on the whiteboard can be shared on the far end. So on this slide, you can see the difference when the AI is off and the AI is on. So on the left side, that is a real-time feed of the board. That is in fact in this room as well. I just took a picture of that. But once you kick the AI on, you see that all the shadows, the gloss, the pen tray at the bottom, all of that is taken out, and you get a much more brighter image of the board. And tomorrow we'll get a chance to see it live as well. All right, so that was some of the existing features. So now let's talk about some new features which are coming for our network-based cameras, like the L1 and the S1. So one of the reasons why we went into a network-based solution is so that we can have a much more immersive experience in those rooms. So one such experience you're going to see, I'm just going to play you a video, is something known as speaker framing. And we draw inspiration from TV and movie production. You know, for the past 30 years, we are so used to a single static shot, but we want to make it much more dynamic experience just so that we keep it interesting. So this is where you're going to see speaker framing. So check out this video and see what you think.
Video meetings don't have to be boring and unengaging. At Huddly, we take inspiration from TV and movie production to create engaging video meeting experiences. We want to make hybrid collaboration both productive and enjoyable. And today, we are proud to present Speaker Framing, a new AI experience from Huddly.
To create a dynamic experience that keeps everyone interested, Speaker Framing is powered by the Huddly L1's built-in AI director. It edits the meeting in real time, like a TV director, switching between different types of shots. First up is the speaker shot. The camera focuses on the person talking, capturing facial expressions, gestures, and other body language cues, so you can get the full meaning of what is being said. But while seeing the speaker is of primary importance, we believe everyone else should be visible as well. That's why the speaker shots are complemented by listening shots that capture non-verbal reactions and responses. Speaker framing is designed to include everyone, even those who aren't as outspoken.
You also get an overview shot, which provides remote participants with the full context of what is happening in the space. The camera automatically goes to overview when remote participants are speaking or when people enter, leave, or move around the room. If people sit closely together, speaker framing creates a group shot to avoid awkward framing or cropping.
Speaker framing is truly unique. You will enjoy engaging video meetings with everyone participating, resulting in better collaboration and productivity. We can't wait for you to try it. To experience speaker framing for yourself, you can now get the free update for your L1 or get in touch with the team to book a live demo.
Sweet. So that is speaker framing, guys. This is readily available. You just need to update the firmware on your L1 cameras. We are just talking about a single L1 camera, which is going to give you those dynamic shots. And it's just a firmware update away. And just to talk a little bit on the use cases, especially for the higher ed space, I'm going to hand it over to Michael.
All right. Well, yeah, great presentation. I definitely dig those multiple shots. It looked like it was coming from 3 different cameras, but it was in fact just coming from one lens, and then our AI director that's nested on our camera does all the real-time editing for the speaker awareness, or the active speaker, the active listener, and the overview shots. But room types that we see traditionally in high flex standard rooms are going to be a Huddly IQ, and that's the camera that I believe that Eben is presenting to you on today. It's fully autonomous, automated. So having the IQ pointed to the front of the class, and if you have an animated instructor that's moving from different media types like a whiteboard or a blackboard or interactive whiteboard to the podium, there's a built-in latency so that way it's not too active. But as that person is flowing from one side of the podium or the front of the class to the other and then back and forth, it'll do a decent job tracking as they move. So if you were to move to the back of the room, it's going to see him, it's going to frame him. And then if you're all the way back at about 35 feet, can you say something with a normal speaking voice, Eben?
Sure, absolutely. Hey, testing 1, 2, 3. Great to be here. Can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you great. So that's 35 feet. That's a pretty sweet option to have on the IQ. It comes with this 5 beamforming microphone array. So the fact that you can have high quality video and audio all on one camera, only being supported by a single USB cable, that really does wonders for room design. That could be tracking the front of the class on the instructor or professor's own BYOD laptop. It wedges on nicely. It's the only moving part in our camera is this wedge, but it's a nice solution. Another solution would be the Huddly One, and the Huddly One looks exactly like the IQ, except for it doesn't have a microphone array. And by the way, you can get this Huddly IQ without the microphone array and just have it be video optics only. But this Huddly One's fantastic because then this can sit in the front of the room and it's discreet. It'll have an ultra wide angle field of view, high definition. And this could capture the classroom so that way, if you wanted to have 2 sessions open or have Zoom rooms or MTR have 2 different cameras feeding in, then by all means, you could do something similar to that. But the third thing would be a canvas, a Huddly canvas, and that's some of the animation that I was showing you. It's on this boom arm, but lo and behold, it's still the Huddly IQ, but we've stripped out all the vision software and we added in Huddly canvas whiteboard software. And this is what gives it that full on interactive or backlit display look on the far side when we enable our whiteboard enhancements. So a 3 classroom configuration, maybe now you only have 1 camera or no cameras in classrooms, but early on in January of 2020, Frost and Sullivan suggested that ex post facto, every classroom is going to have 3 cameras by design by 2025. And we're approaching that point in time and space, but we're also approaching that point in reality because more and more universities are using the IQ as their room standard. And the fact that it has 180-degree perspective correction, I'm going to flip this upside down. You can hang it from a ceiling or you can hang it in underneath a podium or a TV mount, but it does a really good job with a 180-degree flip. The IQ is a outstanding camera. That is our bread and butter. It's the very first EPTZ camera. But if you wanted to go with a little bit nicer design, then more of an advanced design would be this. This is the Huddly L1. This has got a monster 1-inch image sensor, and it can bring in a lot of photons in a low lighting environment. So this is great if you have a video wall and you have to draw the shades or drapes. The L1 will illuminate the room. It's not night vision, but since we have so many photons going into this 1-inch sensor, we're able to boost up lighting. And then we add in portrait lighting on all of our cameras. This camera right here is the Huddly S1. It's very similar to design as the L1, but if you notice, it's still using that 1/2-inch image sensor. This is a 4K sensor, ultra wide angle. This is a 4K sensor, ultra wide angle. And then this is a 6K 1-inch. This is special. We're also able to put this camera in high value spaces and high flex of the future, but we'll go over that in those 2 points at the end. So the beauty of this though is it's all network connected, so we can extend full on video through Ethernet, which is cheaper to run. You can run through conduit. It's nicer. It bends easy. Very easy to install. And then on the other end, on the receptor, we invented this. This is a network adapter. It's even magnetic. So this lives near the CPU or the host. So if it's a credenza or underneath the table, you can just mount it underneath the table because it's magnetic, or you can mount it behind the panel. So this is a pretty cool invention that we recently made. So extending using these, the L1 would be capturing the front of the classroom, the S1 or another L1 could be pointing in the opposite direction at the attendees or the classroom participants. So the third thing is a lot of people are integrating this form factor in their high value spaces using mobile carts. There's a VESA mount. That's the only option. This comes in a kit. The kit comes with the adapter, the network adapter, the cabling that you need. It interfaces using USB into the local host. It even comes with a bracket too. So the bracket is another sweet item that comes with the L1. This will give you adaptability. You can mount it on a wall, or you can mount it on a credenza, or it pairs with our VESA mount, and then you can mount it on top or below a TV screen. The IQ with surface hubs or interactive whiteboards, it just don't have quite that field of view that our 150-degree diagonal and 120-degree horizontal gives. A lot of companies and schools are putting this on those types of systems running fully autonomous. If they want it to be fixed field of view, well, then they can set that up as a default. And this runs on all platforms like Google Meet, Android, IoT, and of course, Windows and Mac. The high flex of the future, though, this is going to kind of bring us into that last topic that I alluded to at the beginning of this presentation. The idea would be have network connected clusters of cameras spread throughout an auditorium or a classroom to capture different vantage points within that environment to truly give that farsight an immersive look inside that classroom, similar to what you'd see in live TV production or documentaries or things of that nature. On that note, I'd like to transition back to Evan so you can be the one to introduce the new Huddly crew.
Sure. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for an amazing job. So guys, yes, we did talk a lot about, different experiences. We looked at, trying to look at those facial expressions, body language, but we want to take it up a notch, right? And that's where we want to introduce the Huddly crew. Huddly crew, you can think about it like a camera system, right, for your room. So we are calling it the world's first multi-camera system with a built-in AI director. It is going to be a three camera kit that we are planning to do. It is based on principles from the TV and movie production. So I do have a rendering here on how the Huddly crew is going to be installed. We do have two options, a floor standing option, where you can see it's going to come with 3 L1 cameras. And as I mentioned before, like the AI director, how it's going to work is you're going to have multiple streams coming into an AI director. One of the camera becomes an AI director, and it's going to give you the best shot on the far end. I'm not giving too much information because we do want to introduce this product and do a live demonstration of it at Enterprise Connect. So I just want you guys to make sure that you guys book a demo to see it live. We'll actually be doing it in this room itself. We're going to get the Huddly crew installed over here, book a demo, get early access to it. And yeah, we just want you guys to experience it for the first time. But it'll definitely be a game changer for the higher ed as well.
All right. So I think that pretty much covered the basics of what we wanted to cover within the first 20-30 minutes of the time allotment. Hopefully we were able to bring up some ideas of classroom design and high value space design. On that note, would anybody have a question or would like to open up dialogue on how you see the future of classroom design with cameras?
I agree with you that the need for more cameras is going to be the standard in the future. We're already installing 2 cameras in every room that we're doing. And in the conference rooms, we're getting requests for meeting owls more often, and I'm steering them away. That actually is a brand new conference room where we did install an L1. So I'm really excited to hear about the firmware upgrade that I can give them so that they can see if that'll work for them. But the one drawback that we've seen is that people have been burned in the past from kind of the intelligent framing, the genius framing, as you call it, And sometimes people want to turn it off. And so for us, teaching the users how to do that through the software is a struggle. And so having some kind of either IP-based control or IR control would really help us out.
Yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying about centralized management and on our platform. Historically, we've been with the IQ, which is a UVC camera. And it's been successful in classroom environments, but you're right. On the onset of the semester or the school year, the administrator or the IT or AV faculty member will take a poll, ask the professor or instructor if they want to have it active framing or static framing. With static framing, you still get a really nice field of view because it is 150-degree diagonal or 120-degree horizontal. But our AI rendering has kind of eliminated a lot of that walleye or that fisheye look that you'd normally get with a ultra wide angle. So it still has its purpose. We are working in unison with Huddly crew development to expand beyond 3-camera configuration in our cluster. So that way you get more surround video per se, like surround sound, but video enabled. We're also working with other audio manufacturers with their Internet of Things. And so that way our L1, S1 would be fully network connected, would have the ability to communicate with other zone speakers or microphones within a classroom or an auditorium, and then be able to detect the active speaker or dialogue. But that's still a couple years out, I'm thinking, because it's a collaboration, unless both entities decide to put the accelerator on it, then it really is just software based at that point. But that's the beauty of this platform, is we can have centralized management. Where UVC, it's really difficult because a lot of organizations won't even allow you to have a local agent running on it to manage this, let alone store data or allow you to remote into that application and then have remote control over your camera just from security bases. Where you can have different security protocols or interact, I think, a little bit more integrated with Active Directory or group policy with an IP type based camera. But that's just speculative on my part at this point. But centralized management, you're absolutely right. I wish we did have the ability to manage that, but until then, if you are connected with a Crestron backbone, we have full API connectivity with Crestron and also Zoom rooms for that matter. And they have full on API remote control of our cameras. And as a matter of fact, we're actually even bringing in people count analytics into Zoom rooms with our IQ, just straight out of the box. All you have to do is enable it on the Zoom room admin console. So that's some sort of centralized management. But yeah, thanks for that question. I definitely appreciate it. So you do like the idea of the Huddly IQ or of the Huddly technology with variable framing. Ideally, it would be great if we can work with Crestron and Zoom to have those be toggle buttons on the user interface on the table. Then they can actively select, but that's speculative, and that's going to be further on down the road too.
Yeah, I also had a question. We have a couple of the Crestron SB1 something or other.
Awesome.
And so the IQ camera in those, can they get the firmware update that you were talking about?
Yeah, actually, you can do that if you unplug it and then put it on a PC or a Mac that's running or that's internet connected. And as soon as the USB cable is plugged into, and actually I did a bunch of updates this morning to the IQ. As soon as it plugs it in, you launch the app. Then at the very bottom, it'll detect that it needs new upgrades. And then you just click on the blue bar, and then you'll be able to see the status where it's downloading and compiling. And then it just does a power cycle, it reboots, and it's installed to the latest. If you do pull the camera out of the SB1 though, you may see some with the trench on it that does have a microphone embedded, but it's been disabled and we can't in the field enable it back to where it once was. Just like on this Huddly canvas. This Huddly canvas has that trench, but we disabled it so we don't get a feedback loop. And by the way, this is how we extend out. We have a built-in transmitter in our boom arm, and then it's honed in at 45 degrees. So this is really where that third camera is. And I bet you have more than 2 cameras in classrooms. If you have a document camera or something similar to this, that you already conform with the 2025 standard.
Yeah, and then so we're connecting the Crestron SB1s to Solstices. Do you know if that is supported with the new firmware?
Yeah, so the Gen 3, the Solstice conference from Mersive, yeah, the IQ should be fully certified with the microphone and also video, but not the L1 or S1 quite yet.
Awesome.
Great question. And then if Barco users out there, they do have a new Gen 2 Barco. So it's very similar. Wireless sharing. The L1 is now compatible with their new Gen 2. And of course the IQ.
Hi there, I had a question for you.
Thank you.
So we've had a lot of talk about wide angles shots for all of the Genius framing. I've got a deep room. I have a horrible Board of Trustees conference room with a table that's 25 feet long or more, and it is narrow. It's about as narrow as the room you're in right now. Any thoughts? I did put an S1 or an L1, I can't remember, in there just as a straight up upgrade to what I had in there before. And they like it a lot, especially when they have small groups that are sitting at the front of the room. But what do I do with those people who are more than 30 feet away from the camera, you know, if I've got 20 people in there? I saw that you had the additional networked camera thought, which is a great idea, but that room is so long and so deep. It's just so terrible.
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the cool things that you can do is put a camera on the opposite wall. So if it is narrow, like this is about 15 feet wide, but you can see how it's just wall-eyeing it. So maybe even an L1 on one end and an L1 on the other end would be better, just because you don't really need ultra wide angle, and the L1's optics are so finite, and they really do make the room pop from a video imaging perspective on the far side. So if you had one L1 on the far end, and then on the other end of the bowling alley or the long banquet table.
Yeah, that might as well be what it is. Yeah.
Correct. Then you have another L1, and then it shoots down both sides. So there's a Southern California university that has the L1 in their president's main dining room, because it's a long throw. She's got one panel array on one wall and a 2-panel array on the far wall. But the idea is to have 2 cameras going in side by side, and they've got 2 Zoom rooms on credenzas. But we are working with our engineers right now to be able to have multiple cameras being supported by one Huddly app. That's different than fully automated multi-camera and the multi-crew experience that we're launching, but it'll be more manual. So you still have to click on one camera or another camera.
Okay, yeah, I'm very interested in trying out some, especially your speaker shots and the fully automated systems, because we're not generally allowed to be in the room when they're having these cabinet meetings.
Perfect.
So, you know, we're not able to do any kind of live mixing at all. They want us out of there as soon as possible, which just means I get, 5 phone calls during the meeting when they've been messing around with stuff. So having something, I usually do not like automated framing. Like, I've been using it, of course, during the pandemic, but there are some places where it just has to be that. I don't have any other options.
Yeah, and that's to echo what Annie was saying earlier on being able to manually adjust from a remote controller. Unfortunately,
Couldn't hurt, but I still wouldn't be allowed to do that either. I'm not even allowed to hear what they are saying, much less be in the same room as them, because they're dealing with finance stuff. So
yeah, and honestly, then the multi-camera experience called the Huddly Crew, that would be ideal because then you can
Yeah.
have multiple cameras in there, and then depending on camera placement, the two adjacent cameras can be like halfway down the bowling alley, and then pointed at a 45-degree angle to capture that far end. And then if it's a small congregation of people on the near side of that long table next to the camera, then that center camera would frame them, as it needs to be.
it does sound ideal. Yes.
And also, Joanna, just to add to that, you had mentioned about the L1 camera. If you update it to the latest firmware, you should have speaker framing. So you would.
I'm already scheduling my nighttime student workers to go and update all of my Huddly cameras as you spoke that. Yes.
That is awesome.
I said, projects for tonight. Perfect.
On the job training too, right?
Absolutely. So once you do that, you can at least look at the experience with just one single L1 camera. And then eventually, once we have the Huddly Crew out, you can think about that solution as well.
Yeah, thank you. That's I was very interested in the Huddly Crew situation for exactly those reasons. I also wanted to ask you guys, how's your supply chain looking?
It's great. So I'm glad you asked. So we only have 3 sole source manufacturers in this IQ. We use Sony Optics, Intel Myriad-X VPU, that's our processor chip. And then Texas Instruments are all the components. We have those 3 same manufacturers in this, but we added on NXP for this IMX8, this graphics card. So this graphics card is manufactured here in Austin, Texas. That's where I'm at, probably about 5 miles away from here. Texas Instruments makes components up in Dallas. Sony is a really good manufacturer. So all said and done. Oh, and Intel, that's all American made. So we don't have issues with the chips and components being on barges or in freight cargo shipping containers. We fly everything into the United States using our DHL partner. And then we have a lead time of about 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. But if it's in stock in the United States through our distribution partners, some can deliver it like 1 or 2 days. As soon as they get the order, then they can overnight it out, but their normal lead time is 2 weeks. So
yeah, I noticed I hadn't had any problems ordering them recently. So I was hoping that was going to continue because you guys have been great with that so far, and I was hoping it would stay the same.
yeah, absolutely. And so we have a lot of these cameras in like DoD entities and DoD contractors because it's highly secured. They're all TAA manufactured. So we manufacture them in Poland and Oslo. But the Intel microchip is a military grade VPU that they use in the drone fleet for the US military. So our components are best in class. That is also another testament to our reliability out in the field. Although we don't have centralized management, and I wish we did, the cameras are rock solid.
We are working on it.
Yeah, and that is going to be a problem solver. But the beauty of our cameras is that they're fully autonomous or they work, so you don't even need to update them. If you liked it back in the day when you bought it, well, then okay, it's still going to get the job done with a fantastic video experience. But if you update it, then you can get those cool features like gallery view. And actually, we're going to be the only company that puts gallery view all on this little itty bitty chip. And that's why I think this is the fact that all of these cameras are all edge computing, that's also going to give you an architectural design advantage in your classrooms. Because if you ended up going with 300 classrooms and you put 300 cameras or IP connected cameras instead of all that 900 high definition, high quality video bandwidth going back to the center someplace being rack processed by middleware and then bounced back out through codec, We can avoid all that because these are all live intercommunicating, and they go through a bid cycle to determine which lens it wants to capture and multicast. And then our network adapter, this will just, as it outputs in 1080p, this will just interface with the UC engine as if it were a single webcam running 1080p using high definition 6K sensors, multiple of them all in a room. So it's a huge technological advantage that we have over the other two manufacturers that I know of that provide something similar to that experience. Putting aside the OWL, like Annie was talking about, that's a perfect example of some trend of multi-camera, but that's not our solution. Our solution is to surround the occupants so that way they can act naturally and not have to huddle around a campfire. So.
Thank you very much for the excellent answers to both of my questions.
Cool. Thank you for your business, and we definitely appreciate your support too. All right, we got about 6 minutes. I think those are great questions. Hopefully, does anybody have any others that perhaps?
I've got a quick one. Are there any plans to bring more image adjustment tools to the Huddly IQ desktop app?
Hey, how's it going, Will? Good seeing you again.
Good to see you.
Yeah, so they're going to expand the configurable options, and I don't think it's going to be in the actual desktop app as much as it can be configured in the cloud app or the cloud services. But that's behind a curtain in product development that I'm not able to look and see. But as far as the Huddly app, we are updating it so that way it will have multiple camera support to accomplish manual switching between camera A and camera B, more specifically S1 and an L1, because we can kind of do that now with a beta that'll allow you to toggle between one IP camera and one USB camera, but not two IP yet. So anyway, that yeah.
I'm thinking more like color temperature, stuff like that for the actual like image that you see, because it tends to make me pretty, I see you look a little reddish too. Like when the white balance gets off easy.
Right on. Yeah. So it's supposed to do manual adjustments. I might be looking a little bit reddish because I kind of closed my normal window. And it is a little darker in here, but you're right. You can go into settings in the tools pathway in the upper left-hand corner. And then there are some image adjustments that you can change brightness and some hue adjustments. And then now with the IQ, those can be saved perpetually on the camera, but nothing new.
Yeah, engineering is aware of, we'll take all this feedback back to engineering for sure.
Hey, Will, you just toggled between two cameras.
Yeah, I just switched. Yeah, you don't want to know.
Right on. Right on.
This is the one I normally use because of that issue.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I appreciate you not saying it. Yeah, okay, so let's talk about that then. So this is a single person user experience that we're all looking at, and I'm looking through the eyes of an IQ. The intent though is to be in a small to medium size or actually in a large conference room like Evan has. So it's really a conference room camera and not so much like a web camera. But point well taken, that white balance, I think I know which camera you're looking at, or I know which camera is looking at you.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like
Well,
the
if you guys are
Huddly,
interested in spreading out into the webcam world, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah, I've been saying if we had a buy-in that's a little bit lower, then more and more people could have that one person user experience. We did try to try to squeeze in this Huddly One as a single person user experience, but it pans all the way out to 150-degree field of view. Of course, you can zoom into somebody to where it manually frames that person. And it does have optical correction. So if I did have my windows open and it was variable throughout the course of the day, this would give you optimal lighting balance within a one person or a classroom environment. So this is our solution to the one person user experience, the Huddly One. But you're right. If we could come in with like something third of the cost and then have it be a webcam, but I doubt we're going in that direction because we're putting all of our chips in the IP basket, which is going to be more network connected, cutting edge technologies. And then the possibilities are limitless using this camera as opposed to any other technology that doesn't have built-in microprocessors or a video board.
And I'll throw in my suggestion that I've been wanting y'all to do. Give us the full sensor data. Let us be able to record that. Because then you give us a 4K or 6K image for way cheaper than anyone else could ever or can match. And so that'd be great for recording purposes and not necessarily live streaming.
Right, you're absolutely
That's my box that I would love to have personally.
Well, I'm super glad that you brought that up because we have some innovative technology in our image processing, especially with the L1 fixed focus technology. So if you were to take this and shoot it and capture a classroom or a conference room, everybody in that frame is going to be in focus. So everybody in the foreground, background, and everybody in between are completely in focus. So that's really nice for recording documentary type or presentations or lectures. Of course, that would be a great solution. As a matter of fact, I've had some distributors say that the L1 optics streaming video or recording video looks better than a lot of their broadcast cameras just because of that fixed focus technology. So thanks for that plug. Definitely appreciate it. And I guess that's why putting them in presidents and executives and board of regents offices, putting the L1 is fantastic because they usually have bigger conference rooms than most, and then they usually have decorations that are, you know, something that they want to show off. So to be able to have that in focus plus the presenter in focus, or maybe they want to open up their window and sit behind the window. Like Eben, if you stand in front of that window that's right behind you, you can see how he's got a backlit source, but open that drape, yeah. But then our portrait lighting, we're the only ones. Now step a little bit to your left, Eben, right there. So he's perfectly backlit right now, but our portrait lighting is able to detect that he is a human, so it's subduing the background lighting and then enhance the facial expressions. So that's something that you might consider in those high value spaces like executive offices that are in ivory towers or something. Cool. Well, I guess we're at the half hour mark. I can certainly stay on and answer more questions because this is one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, thank you. It was very informative.
Well, thank you very much for your participation.
Yeah,
Definitely
thank you. I'll see you later.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Hey, Michael, I slipped in late just because I wanted to get an opportunity to ask a question. I had asked this through support and got an answer, but hoping for something more specific. We picked up an L1 under the advisement of an integrator, essentially, and the integrator didn't take into account that the L1 is not a multi-platform camera, and we are a bring your own device organization. And so we're sort of stuck in the, well, shoot, we can't use these cameras until firmware releases and such. Can you give me any clarity as to when there'll be multi-platform options available for that?
Well, currently at this point, we've only been given kind of an intermediate target on ETA for functionality. There is a couple of solutions that we have set forth. One is going to be software based and one is going to be hardware based, but I think the hardware solution should come prior to that. Eben, do you have any more information on timeline?
Yeah, so you're talking about a BYOD, right, Cody?
Yeah.
So there's a two part to that. So our temporary solution where you just plug in the camera, the drivers are automatically going to get downloaded. We are currently testing it, and we plan on releasing it hopefully end of this month is what I'm looking at. That's the last I heard. If something comes up, then it might delay a little bit, but definitely before Q1.
But sure. That's still going to be Windows 10, Windows 11 only, correct?
Yes, that's right. And also, if you're looking for Mac option as well, that is also around the same time. That is one option, but then we are also planning on having another plug and play solution, which is down the line, hopefully beginning of Q2. I don't have a timeline on that.
I'm thinking realistically, it'll be generally available in July of this year. And Eben can't really go into much on it just because it is something else that we're inventing, kind of like this network adapter. There's multiple patents in this one. It's going to be a refresh, but it'll be a solution that'll be nice. The solution that he was talking about with that BYOD piece, though, it's not virtual, or it's not universal plug and play. It's virtual plug and play. So as soon as somebody comes in with their laptop and then plugs the L1 in that, and it's a Windows 10 or 11 laptop, it'll detect that the software is not there, then automatically reach out to Microsoft Store, bring the software down and install. That process should take about a minute from what I hear. So it's like a virtual plug and play, not universal PNP. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, we're not there yet. Like, it's nice to hear that things are coming and maybe new developments are happening, but it seems like it's still a ways away. Right, and that's why Shadi's here, just to make sure I don't say anything about it, because I want to tell you so bad. It'll resolve a lot of issues, especially with interoperability. Yeah, ultimately, like, to me, it's frustrating that I've got a bunch of cameras sitting on a shelf that I can't use because it was an oversight. So yeah, the IQ though is a beautiful camera, and it is fully ubiquitous. So that's a great camera platform. Yeah, we have one of the IQs in a classroom, but we were looking for a little bit different feature set, and we thought the L1 would do the trick, but nope. Yeah, totally understand. But yeah, it's but the investment that you made is great that you already have the L1s, because they get better with time. So we're not going to make any changes on the video or hardware platform on this model. So like, for instance, if you were to have bought this IQ back in 2019, it would have only had one AI function, and that was genius framing or group framing. Then we added a new update, firmware update that added people counts. So you could have it with analytics through XIO Cloud or Azure's Power BI. Google Meet was also capturing analytic data, and then Zoom. Then we added a third AI feature, that's at portrait framing, portrait lighting, and that's all because of this Intel Myriad X VPU. The gallery view is a new feature that we just released for free. So that's the legend of this camera. As the older it gets, the better it gets. We're going to do the same thing to some degree with this, but this has so many more capabilities than a UVC camera because it's network based, and we have the ability to leverage Ethernet connectivity with 55,000 ports, and we can transfer a lot of data from this lens to back into the center. So I think all said and done, the camera platform is about as solid as it gets. So the investment that you made on the L1s, they'll pay itself back in spades as soon as we get that interoperability piece in. Then deploy it, and then deploy multi-camera, and then show people a new high flex standard, because the mundane problem is that these kids nowadays that are in college seats, they have a different demand on how they consume video content. And that demand is based on video that they're consuming from documentaries and TV producers. So we want to have that Huddly crew be your full automated, highly secured, no human interaction, live real-time video production crew that's going to just stream at 1080p with very optimal bandwidth, maximizing your infrastructure, minimizing management overhead. Yeah, looking forward to it. I do have a little bit of apprehension about the use of the Microsoft Store as the method for distributing the software. I know that our environment, our managed computers, sometimes we've encountered certain apps that won't install from the Microsoft Store. So I wonder if you're re-imaging those apps, if you can put that in with the original image that you're pushing out on every login through group policy. Then I think, Eben, it may be possible to have that run as an administrator, or the Huddly app as an administrator. Sure. And as it loads on, but I'm not sure. I haven't done that, but in theory it should work. What about for
you said on the Mac side, as that comes out, is that going to be distributed in much the same way of an app store deployment of sorts?
Yeah. So that's another innovation because Apple didn't know what to do with an IP camera. They're like, what? And so we showed them here, let us show you the advantages. So we're working on that right there is the ability to download software from the App Store and install. But right now, internet connectivity or interconnectivity between our node and the host node, this Macintosh, that seems to be working great. We're just waiting on validation for downloading through the App Store.
Sure.
But that's going to be a DMG though, so I believe it's going to be a DMG, which is compiled for Unix and Linux OS too. So you should be able to convert it or just run it like a tarball. So if that's the case, then we would be able to.
Does that give flexibility to be able to leverage in like a Chromebook scenario?
Well, I don't think so, and the reason why is because with Chrome box or Chromebooks, we're going to have to wait until that we come out with that hardware apparatus. I don't think it'll work right now with our L1S1 in any shape or form. And the reason why is because we're building the cameras for Google Meet Series 1. And so all those cameras are embedded Huddly cameras. But I would like, but yeah, we've talked to them about having interoperability with Chromebook without a doubt. But the IQ UVC all day long Chromebook, you can definitely use this on a Chromebook. And then a Chromebox as well. Our Huddly Canvas works with anything that's UVC we can form to. It's just these are IP connected, so we have to download software.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I appreciate the time and energy. I'm going to hop out and head back towards the whatever that.
Cool. Yeah, Cody,
Waiting for
thanks for the questions. I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Talk to you later. Thanks.
Cool. All right.
Thanks. I'll close the room now.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Annie.